Okay, on number 1, change this into scientific notation. Notice the exponents tell you how many spaces to move the decimal, or the decimal has been moved. So if there's the decimal there, I move it over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that must mean letter C. On number 2, the positive 2 here tells me it's a large number because it's positive. And so if I move this decimal over 1, 2 spaces, I get letter C, 504.8. Okay, on number 3, 2/3 4 times should look like this. And 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. So the top is 16. On the bottom, 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 9 is 81. So the correct answer is letter B. On number 4, you have 3 CDs that total up to 4308. So how much is each one? You could write it this way and divide, or you could say 3 times something is 4308. Okay, using process of elimination, 3 times something is 43. It can't be 46, and it can't be 40. There's no way. 3 times something is 3 times 40 is 43. That doesn't work. So just looking at it, estimating it, is it 3 times 11? Would that equal 43? 3 times 11? No. This has to be the correct answer. And if I divided 3 into 43.08, it comes out to 14.36. That is correct answer. Number 5 asks for the total amount of all 4 ingredients, so these 4 fractions added together. So you have a common denominator is 4. 1/2 is the same thing as 2/4. So if I add my numerators now, I have 1, 3, 1, and 2. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 7/4. That's the same thing as 1 and 3/4. But don't forget, you have this other 1. So it's 1 and 1 and 3/4. That would make 2 and 3/4. Number 6, just put a 1 under it. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 1 is 4. 9/4. Number 7, which of the following is equivalent to 5.5? Well, 2 goes into 5 2 times with 1 left over. That's 2.5. Well, 2.5 is the same thing as that. Number 8, they ask you to estimate, and that is why they made $12.99 into $13. And it's on sale for 1/4 off. What represents that? Well, 1/4 is the same as 0.25. So that is my correct answer. Okay, which one's irrational? The weird one. Hey, square root 9, that's just 3. Okay, so that's an integer. That could be made 3 over 1. And this, that's like a 1 over it. See, that's a fraction. This, we have an integer over an integer. That's okay. It has to be that. Square root 5. Number 10 wants to know which fraction is the same. Now, 3 and 0.08, that's 3 and 8 over 100. Okay, we'll stop there for a second. Look at letter A. 25 goes into 56 2 times with 6 left over. So that's not my answer, because remember, it's 3 and something. So that's out. 25 goes into there 3 times, 75 with 2 left over. So that's possible. 5 goes into 19, 3 with 4 left over. So that's possible. 5 goes into 32, 6 times with 2 left over. Hey, that's out. Okay, so neither one of those two could be it. It's one of these two, B or C. And let's reduce 3 and 800ths. I know that 2 goes into 8, 2 goes into 8, 4, 2 goes into 100. You know, half of 100 is 50. Oh, that can be reduced. Half of 4 is 2, and half of 50 is 25. So this is really 3 3 and 2/25. Okay, go ahead and turn your paper over. Number 11, sweater cost $37.50. She bought it for 20% off. How much was deducted? So in other words, what's 20% of $37.50? Remember, excuse me. Remember, to find 10% of a number, you just move the decimal over one space. So really, 3.75 is 10%. Okay, and so you would add those together, and that would give us 20%. You can do this method, or you can just multiply by 0.20. But either way, 20%, look, if 10% is 3 something, and so 20% is about $6 or $7, there's no way it can be $30. Okay, if that's out, it couldn't be number C, it couldn't be $20, it can't even be $17. It must be this price. And if I add these together, I get $7.50. And that is our answer, $7.50. Okay, Jason buys a jacket for $80. Actually, he takes it starts off at $88. He gets 50% off of that. Well, 50% knocked off that would leave you with $44. That's just half. Then he gets another 25% off of that. So how much is it going to cost him? So we need to find 25% of that, of 44. So to find 25%, you have choices. You can do the multiplying by decimal, or you can find 10, 10, and 5% together. 10%, remember, you just move the decimal over 1. So it's 4.4. 4.4. And then 5% is half of that. That's 2.2. And you add that together. That's 8, 10. Carry the 1. That's another 10. And so that's 11. $11. So it costs $88. You get 50% discount. That only costs $44. You get 25% off of that. So I'm going to subtract $11. That's 25%. Subtract it. And the answer is 33. Now, you could have probably saw, you could have eliminated a lot of this stuff. You knew it wouldn't have been $66. And when it was half off $44 and you got another 25%, you know it's not that. Number 13, we're basically looking for 12% of 200. That's how much interest in a year. Now, you can do the other method, 10%, 1%, and 1%. By the way, 10% of 200, remember, you just move the decimal over one space, so it's $20. Hey, wait a minute. They're telling us, they're saying how much is 20%, 12% of 200? Well, look, you know it's not $6 because 10% is $20. You know it's not $12. It's either C or D. And 1%, we move it over two spaces, so it'd actually be 2. So I'm looking at $24. Now, right away, you can eliminate the last one, 4,000. 12% of 37, it's got to be less than 3740. So it can't be that. Can't be that answer. So you can choose either method you want. Either multiply by a decimal or just add up the percentages. Okay, number 15, Stuart buying a pair of jeans for $40 or on sale for 20% off, and then we're going to have to add some tax to that. So we take 20% of 40, we have to figure that out first. Now you can do either method, but hopefully you can just do that in your head. 10% of 40 is just 4. Okay, and 4 and 4 makes 8. That's 20% is just $8. Now, by the way, I may have made an error in eliminating this problem right away, this answer. But it's definitely not 20. We know it's more than $21. It's at least $32. Now I'm going to have to add the tax. So what I'm going to do is take 8% of $32. He's going to have to pay $32 plus tax. And the rate is 8%. So 32 times 0.08 is $2.56. So the tax is $2.56. And if I add it to my $32, this is what his total cost is going to be. So that would be the letter B, $34.56. Number 16, calculator costs $20. You buy it on sale for 40% off. So we're going to subtract 40% of 20 from 20. $20 minus 40% of 20. And if I calculate 40% of 20, I just use 0.40. That's $8. So $20 minus the discount, 20 minus 8 is $12.